Oh, I don't know what that is, and I don't know how to take it off. That was kind of crazy there for a minute. I've seen people doing that. Sorry about that. Hey, it's Terry. I'm at the Artisan Market today. Let me see if I can point my phone up just a tad. And I'm working on these pieces that I started last week with the Dixie Belle. I was using their aubergine, amethyst, in the navy, vintage duck egg, and plum crazy. And I have used all of these colors. I went in the crevices and in the deep areas with the in the navy. I went all over the rest of it with the deep purple, which is the aubergine, and I come out in some areas where I wanted some highlighting and did that in the plum and the vintage duck egg. And now I'm about to go over the whole thing again with the aubergine, and I wish I had a bigger container of it. Where am I at? But what I'm going to do today is just cover the whole thing, and then I'll come back later and get the top edges of the drawers and things like that, because I don't have like an ice pick in here to pull that out right now. But I'm going to do the whole piece in this real quick, and I probably should have tried to open this first. But the reason I would do that, and the reason I went to all this, what somebody could consider trouble, it wasn't any trouble for me because I was enjoying myself. But now I'm going to cover every bit of that up, is that I'm going to do what's called wet distressing. I won't do that today because we're going to let this coat dry today. But I put that whole dark coat in to begin with, and then put these other areas here. And what I'm going to do next week, or I think I might take off next week. How crazy is that? And just, I'll come to you from home, work on some projects from there. But I have some other projects I want to work on, so I'm thinking about just taking a week off from here at the store. I don't know if most of you know I work at a health food store. I'm thinking about taking the week off here and just concentrating on other projects at home. And but anyway, the reason I did all that and what I'm going to do after this coat is called wet distressing. And wet distressing is when you take a damp cloth or baby wipe or something like that and go back over the piece, that'll cut back over this aubergine that I'm putting on here right now, and reveal, like I put too much water on there to begin with, wet this paint, I guess. I can't think of the word I'm supposed to use. I got a little bit of menopause brain going on again this morning. But reactivate this paint and loosen where the top layer will thin itself out again with the water that I reapply, either through my little mister bottle that I usually have in here. I don't know if I have one to show you. I do. I will reactivate a little with the mister bottle, and I will probably use baby wipes because I've been dying to try that, so why not try it with my good buddies, right? And try to come back off of some of this aubergine, this dark color, and reveal some of the lighter color that I painted underneath first. So that will bring back a look that's similar to what I'm covering up right now, but it will be more subtle. It will be a lot more subtle, not just blobs of light blue or vintage duck egg, which is this medium sort of a blue color, and the plum, which I absolutely loved as well. A little bit of that will be revealed back through as I use a baby wipe to rub a little bit of this aubergine or this dark purple right back off of here. So I'm anxious. It'll either be a flop or it'll be gorgeous. If you're a purple lover like me, you'll love it either old way because it is purple. There's a lot of drips on here. I don't know if y'all can see that. And in today's style, that actually looks very nice, but that's not what I'm going for with this. So I had too much water on my brush to begin with. I'm using my Paint Pixie number 12, and they hold a lot of water. I should have been a little more careful. But anyways, I'm going to let that simmer down just a little bit and go back over it with the thicker Dixie Belle paint. But If you have any questions, just ask them. Just watch for me to come back. I'll post that I'm coming back for that if you want to learn this technique. I hate to be covering up the paint that I put under there, but here's the thing. Whenever you go back over that and you do the wet distressing, that for one, it's saving your house from getting, you know, when you're using sandpaper, getting that dust all over the house that would happen if you were doing a true distressing technique with sandpaper. So we're going to mimic that, and it's going to appear that we are going back down through many, many years of layers of different colors of paint on this piece, which is really awesome, and a really awesome look that sort of fools the eye. But it's also, when you do it in this way, it's a lot smoother. I'm not a huge fan of the chippy technique. Maybe I will be one day. Right now I'm not. It's not my thing. So I want to have all the different shades and the undercoatings and things that people who do the chippy finishes do, but I want my finish to be more smooth. This is too thick now on this side, so I'm going to squirt just a little bit of water to help my brush flow. But so that's the next part of the technique, is to use the baby wipe or the wet or damp, I shouldn't say wet, rag to re-expose some of the lighter colors that I'm covering up now, and get them to be thinner and more blended and look like highlights that are showing through from decades ago. That's the ideal situation that I'll be going for. Go back over this now that it's dried a little. But I'm actually very excited to be trying this technique, and very excited to be trying this technique in purple, because it is my favorite color. And people who love purple. So I know that in my heart that there's someone out there that's going to think the colors that are revealed when we do the wet distressing on this piece are the most beautiful colors they've ever seen. So that keeps me going there a little bit. Normally you wouldn't go back over this a lot, but like I said, I had too much water on my brush. Let's see if I can turn this around a little bit for you to see. If you're late coming in, see all the different plum here, and the vintage duck egg here, and then the bright purple. You can come in. The bright purple is the amethyst, and all of that is what I'm covering up now. Okay?
Hey, do we grab, this is our...
Yeah, and then you ring it up and do a coupon that's, or under store use.
Okay.
Just get one off the shelf.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I have two of these here. The lady who gave me this set of cabinets, sweet, sweet, sweet couple, was in earlier getting a smoothie, and I told her I was working on these right now, and she's excited to see a picture of them when they're done. I warned her that the cute little white vintage tables that were once hers were soon to be purple. So I did do that warning. And the amethyst, the other colors are so pretty too. I may put another coat of those here or there, but what I need to do is leave it alone and do the technique that I told you I'm going to do, and have some of what's already here show back through later. I'm very excited to try this technique. I've seen so many beautiful, beautiful pieces done with this technique. And if after I wet distress, I still wish it was a little darker in the corners or a little lighter through the middle, I'll correct that with waxes. And that's the good thing about the chalky style and the chalky and clay style paints, is we can take those waxes and create a custom wax. So I was using in the navy, a dark navy by Dixie Belle, in the darker areas and the crevices. I think I told you that already. And I can come back and create a navy wax to go in those crevices after I go back over and do the wet distressing, if I feel like it's, you know, that I've removed too much. You see there where this just does a fine mist. Can you see that? And that puts just enough water. That's just plain water. If you wanted to, you could use vinegar in there and get a little bit more of a chippy looking finish. But like I said, I'm not 100% a chippy kind of a girl right this minute. But you could do that if you're a chippy kind of a girl. Or you could add, say you wanted just a highlight over this, I could add some of the, let me show you this color, I just love it. Some of this Plum Crazy. I could mix just a tad of this in my water that I'm going to spray on here in mist, and you know, that would add a little bit of a highlight. Or I could also add that lighter color of a little bit of the Plum Crazy and the Vintage Duck Egg and make 2 custom lighter waxes to use on the areas where you would want to highlight and look lighter. So all is not lost if I start working on the wet distressing and it's not doing what I want it to do. I painted the back of these. And I'm going to go ahead and put one more quick coat on there. And that was just to make it look more finished, and in case anybody, I don't know why you would, but in case anybody put it in the middle of the floor, if you say used these in your living room instead of in a bedroom, then they may be beside the sofa floating in the middle of the room. And it would be nice to have a finished back. So I'm just going with the plain aubergine in the back. And I don't know what's correct, so don't go after me knowing whether it's aubergine, aubergine. I like to call it eggplant. It's just one of my, which is what it means, which is just one of my very favorite colors. Used to be my very favorite color ribbon when I was a full-time florist. There were probably more flower arrangements with aubergine ribbons in Leesville, Louisiana in the years that I was a full-time florist than there have been before or since. Okay, there's some old runs on this piece. There's nothing I can do about that. Those are from a paint job that was underneath. That could probably be sanded. I probably should have sanded it before. I didn't. I'm not going to do it now either. So that's part of the technique, and a person who that would bother is probably not the person who would be in here buying an old used purple painted piece for me anyway. So I'm going to stop the video now. I've got 2 of these. I'm going to paint the other one, and I will see you I'll see you tonight. Go and get the flowers. Look at the other video. If you haven't seen that yet, we're going to the dollar store. Everything's a buck, Dollar Tree, whatever you call it. Getting some fall colored flowers, larger size, smaller size, tiny size, and long skinny ones, and some leaves. A piece of what's called dry foam. You'll see it there, green floral foam, and some kind of container to put it in, and a hot glue gun, and a pair of wire cutters. And I'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight, and we'll do the fun fall centerpiece arrangement from the dollar store supplies. See you then. Bye-bye.